Hello, everybody, and welcome to Buzz Radio Podcast. My name is Lindsay Duff, and in this month's episode, I have a great interview with local San Diego graffiti artist Maxx Moses, also known as Pose 2. We are working on a video component to this interview so that you can see his art as we discuss it, but as of August 1st, we don't have it up yet. Check back to www.buzzradio.buzz for updates and for the link to our YouTube channel when it's available. You can also go to www.pose2.com to see some of Maxx Moses' beautiful artwork. That's POSETWO.com. And I'm here today with Maxx Moses, alias Pose 2, graffiti artist from Brooklyn, New York.
Hello. First, let me make a correction.
Okay.
From New York, originally from Yonkers.
Yonkers, my mistake. Oh,
Yeah.
all this time I thought you were from Brooklyn.
A lot of people think that. Yep.
Yonkers. That's a more interesting name anyway.
Gotta represent Yonkers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the radio show is about many things: creativity, love, and how we use those things in our lives and how we can expand. So here, this man that we're talking to right now is a consummate master at that. And
which one?
both creativity and love.
Okay.
Right?
I'll let you tell it.
I think so.
Okay.
You're a loving guy. I mean, everybody loves you.
Right.
Did you know that?
There's a television show called that. Everybody Loves Maxx.
Yeah. Oh, there is. I didn't know that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, how you kind of got started. You were pretty young, right?
Yeah, I was like 14. You know, growing up right outside the New York City area, and you know, just seeing this whole art form emerge. You know, in your neighborhood, you're seeing names and you know, tags being written all over the place, and you know, this is becoming interesting. You know, amongst all the other things that we did as mischievous kids, you know what I mean? Like
14-year-olds.
Yeah, this was like, what is this? This is pretty fascinating, and I think I really enjoyed it because it actually, now that I think about it, actually provided a chance to travel. Because Yonkers is like 4 miles outside of the Bronx. So just to get to the Bronx where it was all happening was an adventure. And then you get to the Bronx and all this is taking place. And then you're riding on the trains. So all of that, you know, it's like adventure, it's travel. And I'm saying that because like now I travel so much too. So
I know you do.
Yeah, it's that same kind of...
A world traveler you are.
Yeah, you know, it's that same kind of attraction, for sure.
Yeah, I think creativity really invites an adventure.
True.
You know,
how about that?
Because when you're creative, it's always an adventure because you really never know what's happening because you're allowing. I think creativity is kind of for me, the way I see creativity is a way of being, a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And if you decide to use your creativity, as you have, in all areas of your life, then it's just this major adventure. It's a great experience to be here and be a creative person who actually uses it in their life. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah, I think there's a few different types. I'm probably one of the creative people who take an adventure journey without a map. You know?
Yeah.
And so I get lost a lot.
Yeah. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, just exactly that. Like a lot of times I don't know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. So the challenge is trying to navigate through that creatively, and that can be a struggle. So like if you think about the early navigators, they had to figure out like, okay, so what am I going to use as a guide? Mm-hmm. You know, so, you know, not having a map is like, you know, you're constantly trying to figure out what I'm going to use as a guide to get me to where I want to go. And, yeah.
I can relate to that.
Okay.
I relate to that very much, actually. My life is pretty much like that, too.
Okay.
You know, because I am...
No, I wasn't talking about my life. I was just talking about art.
Oh, you are.
I'm just teasing.
That's what I thought. I thought you were talking about your life. You're messing with me.
Both.
Both.
Absolutely.
So, also, tell me how you think creativity. If you hadn't been a creative person, what would it be like without the creativity? Or what would it be like?
I think about when I don't paint for a couple of days, I can just the anxiety, just really gets high, and my coping skills begin to diminish. And I'm just like, dude, I gotta paint. Like I need it. So it's very therapeutic. It definitely keeps me a little more sane. So.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I probably would have to use some other form of release, maybe sports or something. I probably would, because I was really into sports before I started painting. So it probably have to be some physical activity.
Something.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you go into a zone when you paint?
Of course.
What's happening in your zone?
Well, there's different phases of it, depending upon what I'm doing. Like a lot of, even if I have if I'm painting a mural, which I paint quite often, I'll lay down an entire sketch sometime. But then the challenge is to figure out how these colors are all going to work together to make something, symbiotic. So a lot of times my process is chaos to order. So I'll create a lot of chaos and there'll be a lot of stuff going on in terms of color and it's funny because I don't like people to see it at that stage because they're like, yo, what the freak are you doing?
What is that?
Right? What is that?
What the hell is that?
Yeah, right. And I'm even saying that too, and it frightens me too. So, and slowly but surely start. Another phase, you start laying down foundation, then you start designing, then you start seeing, that orange over there, if I bring some orange over here, that's gonna boom, 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 that's gonna work out, bring this here. So, I think learning to trust the struggle.
Yeah, it's outside of the box, definitely, type of thinking.
Yeah, I guess.
To allow chaos first. I don't think most people do it like that. I know what you mean because kind of my process is like that too. I never really know what I'm going to paint.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I have one image in my head, like a horse or a face or something like that, but everything else is just kind of given to me just as I'm going, So
Sure.
How do you think that love has been a part of your life?
Wow.
How does it fit into your life as far as your work, your creativity, your relationships?
How
do you see it?
Good. Chaotic.
Chaotic.
I think when you speak about love, and I'll try to figure out how that actually relates to my work and everything, but when you just talk about the concept of love, I think I learned mostly about it when I was going through my divorce. Because it wasn't until that time that I really appreciated and I learned all the things that I really appreciated about my ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I wanted her back so badly, but I realized that what I was wanting to hold on was this idea of possession. Like I wanted to possess her. I wanted to own, because if I didn't have that in my life, I felt I was lost. And I was like, dude, you're whack. I'm like, that's not love. You want to possess something. You don't love it. But if you really love it and she wants to go in another direction, then you can really love and be like, cool, that's the path that you need to take. Respect, do what you need to do. So, in a nutshell, for me, my concept is love is space. Love is space, and it's space to allow people to move in whatever direction that they feel that they need to do, and it may not be in agreement with you in any shape and form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how does that relate to my work? I don't know. I think hopefully I'm just allowing myself to have space and to grow and hopefully not get stuck. I was just having a meeting the other day with some of my friends who were collaborating, and I did this whole drawing and I submitted it, and they were like, yo, I'm tired of that concept. I don't want to be a part of it anymore if that's the concept. And I was like, wow.
Whoa.
You know, so like, damn, so okay, so are we just gonna break and go in different directions? Or are we gonna have a conversation about it? So one of the fellas was like, yo, we should have a conversation. And, are you in? Are you gonna? I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna listen, because perhaps this is just a chance for me to listen.
An opportunity for expansion.
Yeah, and like, can I step out of my own way and see that there needs to be some growth? Love is space.
Love is space. I think that's really good. The other question I had for you was, I think as an artist, there's some sort of, we are like compelled to present beauty in our own unique way. So how do you, to me, when I see your art, I see love and beauty. So, and I can see the energy in it. I can see the impact that it has on people, visually. And how that's such a huge thing in our world, in our communities. Without the beauty, without artists, I mean, what would it be like? So I wonder how you kind of perceive that, how you offering up something of a special energy, love and beauty to your communities and the world. Because you do things all around the world.
It's interesting because I don't really think about any of those things.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
Right, I don't
to
know.
See what you think.
Yeah,
maybe if
not,
you think about it.
Think about any of that. Honestly, it's just really the drive to create that's pushing it. It's the creative process that's pushing it. So I'm not like in the mind state of like, I'm trying to push the concept of love, or even if I'm trying to beautify, like I'm just the idea of creativity is just pushing through.
Right.
Of course, and
but you're aware that you're aware that you. I mean, I think that's what happens with creative people, because we're connected to our higher selves, and we're getting information that we're actually sharing. That's my experience. But I mean, if you think about it, when you think about your art having that sort of impact, how does that? What do you feel about that? How do you think about that?
Oh, I'm glad that people respond to it, for sure.
You're aware that that's happening, right?
That people are responding to it?
Yes, they're responding to it. They think it's beautiful, and there's the sense of connectedness and community, and
maybe, I don't know.
A lot of stuff like that.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe sometimes I do when I hear people, or if I look at social media and I see people's responses. Yes. Maybe I just don't pay a lot of attention to it.
That's okay too. Whatever. I mean, it comes across.
That's good. I'm glad it does.
Yeah.
I'm glad it does. I'm glad it has an impact. Because that's what art is meant to do. I mean, I did an exhibition in 2015, so early 2014, called Good Morning America, which was total departure from the normal beautiful stuff. I think the artwork was beautiful, but the messages were so more gut-wrenching. It dealt with race and politics and sex and religion and spirituality, all of these things all of these dogmas that we've been, embracing in our culture and ingesting as truthfulness and practicing and just like questioning these things. So really trying to push people's buttons to ask themselves some of the questions that they have been adhering to.
Yeah.
So I think I was really interested in that. That was an exhibition. I was really interested in seeing what people thought and felt, because maybe they always got this beautiful aspect of what you're speaking about, of love and beauty. And I thought that there was a lot of beauty in that.
There is a lot of beauty in that.
There was a lot of humor in it too.
So what was your experience of that after it happened? I mean, how did people respond, and what was the? Can you tell our audience a little bit more about how that came about? That was a big thing.
That was a big thing. The exhibition itself came about because there was a gentleman who was putting together an exhibition called The Divided States of America. And he asked me to be a part of it. And at the time, I hadn't done any type of political artwork.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't do political artwork, right? So he's like, well, if you want to do a canvas, I'll pay you $5,000, and maybe you'll be a part of this bigger exhibition and do more paintings. So I was motivated.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a pretty good motivator, $5,000 for a painting.
I was like, okay, cool. So I did the painting, and it was a self-portrait. And the painting had on the side of it, it said "nigger for sale," right? And so I brought him the painting, and actually the whole exhibition was put together to help Obama's re-election.
Oh, right.
So when I brought that painting, I think he was like, okay. Like, I think you went way out in the wrong direction. But after that, I opened up the door and I couldn't close it.
Yeah.
I just was like, whoa, I haven't done this before. There was a part of me as a black man in this country to expose the psychological trauma that I go through on a daily basis through artwork. Mm-hmm. Because people, we get very uncomfortable with having the conversation about it. So I was like, okay, we don't have to talk about it. I'll do some art about it.
What an opportunity, really.
It was fantastic.
That's awesome. I mean,
super detox.
I think that political art, I'm not a political person either, but when I see somebody expressing themselves through creativity, I'm a lot more open to see what's happening than I would be if somebody was trying to give me their opinion.
Exactly.
And push it on me and stuff, being a Republican or a Democrat, or I'm really kind of apolitical. I lean towards one probably more than the other just because they're more like me. But other than that, I don't really care. Of course, I voted for Obama. I think he is one of the best presidents we've ever had. And I don't want to get political, you guys. Hopefully that's okay with everybody. I love him. I think he's amazing, man. And but thanks for that. I think that must have been really an exciting experience.
Oh, beautiful. I totally enjoyed it.
So what has been one of the biggest things that you have learned from being an artist, do you think? Do you have that's a great question. What do you think?
What is the biggest thing?
One of the biggest things that you've gotten from being an artist. I mean, I know that that's kind of, outside of what you probably know think about.
I think that would be, I think about Paul Robeson when you say that, and to paraphrase one of his quotes, it's like, there's no separation between him being an artist and him being a human. Like they're the same thing. Yeah. So in saying that, it's like, the amount of trust that I have to have as an artist in the universe, because there's no guarantee of a paycheck tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I do. I totally know.
I think that alone is ginormous.
It is ginormous.
It's ginormous, but look at the life that I live. I wake up when I want to wake up. I sleep when I want to sleep. I eat when I want to eat. I flow. I can pay attention. I need to do this now. I need to do that now. I need to do that. That amount of freedom to move about on the earth is huge.
It is huge.
It's huge, and I appreciate it because, fortunately, I constantly have opportunities that are coming my way. Mm-hmm. I enjoy what I do. Come on.
And I think it's interesting too, because as a human being here on our planet, I think that the work that we do and the things that we do that shine out from us, our energy field, it's like when you walk your talk, your energy is like luminous, And people learn things from you without you even saying anything. Just being in the room.
Sure.
You know, I've had that experience with people saying to me that, you know, that about me. And I was like, and it took me a while to absorb it. I wasn't really sure what the heck they were talking about, you know? But then when I started meeting more people like that, that I feel that you're like that type of person. And I have a lot of friends who are like that, actually. Then I started learning more about myself. So as a mirror...
I have to take that as a compliment.
That's a compliment. That's a compliment. You know, as a mirror for myself, you know, and vice versa, I think that that whole image of being a creative person is... and making a difference without really having to do a whole lot.
Yeah, because it's a lifestyle. It's not just about creating artwork. It's
how
the
you
life
live.
that you live.
How you think.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's not, you're not on a day-to-day routine of like doing this. I wake up at 9 every day. I do this. I do that. I do that. You're just not in that matrix, you know?
So what about, this is a question that I like to ask artists. So how is your relationship to God? I mean, what do you think God is?
Wow.
I mean, you know, because, okay, just an example, because I think that everything that I'm doing, I feel like I'm being guided. You know, I feel like I'm being told, okay, Lindsay, do buzz radio. You know, when I'm writing something, I'm getting this, 2013, I'm finally doing it. So I get messages, and I have faith that that's the thing I need to do. So I'm wondering how that lands on you.
Wow. Good question. I mean, I've studied, I've studied Egyptian spirituality and philosophy with an organization called the Earth Center for like 3.5 years. So, you know, I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about the ancestral path, which is
pretty cool, isn't it?
Which is pretty eye-opening. Right now I'm reading the Gita, which is, you know, about Krishna. So, you know, you're dealing with like two different kinds of philosophies, like, you know, the ancestral path, and that whole thing is dealing with a lot of gods and goddesses. And then Krishna is just about Krishna. So it's monotheistic and polytheistic. So I'm just learning. I don't have a clear idea of what God is. I think the closest I could possibly get to that is just through meditation. And just through meditation, I think it just allows me to filter out a lot of noise within my body. So whatever energy is trying to come through, I can get a clearer hearing of what that is. And that's probably the best I could tell you.
That's great. I like that. I really do. I do think that, you know, for me, when I'm painting, I feel like I'm just being given all this amazing blessings and all this good energy. And so I've always wondered about all these different people I know, artists especially, because I am, you know, that's kind of who I am. I mean, that's who I am. It's not kind of who I am. So I want to know, you know, what other people are experiencing. And I think meditation is an amazing way to, like you said, let things go and be an open vessel. So it's kind of like having faith, you know, that you're going to, you know, have the next job, you're going to, you know, receive monetary gain from, or, you know, so that you can survive here for the work you do. That's a huge thing, you know, being an artist, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the best lessons, you know, to be able to trust, you know, that things will be provided for. You know, it makes me, like, I think about it, like, you know, when I have my son with me and I'm walking down the street, like, I'm holding his hand. Like, I'm going to make sure he crosses the street safely, right? I'm going to do whatever it is in my power to let no harm happen to him.
Right.
And that's I kind of see, like, the ancestral spirit, you know, like, so our ancestors are there So do you think that they're gonna let any harm come to you? Like they're gonna provide for you, they're gonna protect you, they're gonna guide you, and that's the kind of analogy that I make.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I see that when I do readings for people. I see ancestors and I see lineage, where we come from, stuff like that. So I'm totally in agreement with that. Yeah, always there. Just, we just have to ask for help and then expect it and then watch for it. And then things happen.
All right.
So do you have anything that you want to share that we haven't discussed?
Oh, wow.
Anything about your art or something that's coming up? Or
Oh, well, presently I am working. There is Angelica Film Center. I did one in Fairfax, Virginia a few years ago. They opened one up there. Now they're opening one in Carmel Mountain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm presently working and, painting a mural there. It's pretty awesome. So I'm got to get back to that this evening.
Good.
Yeah. That's the most recent project. Working on a coloring book for with a friend of mine called Empty Without You, because we made a music video a few years ago. What else is taking place? And this painting that is behind us, this painting is a painting that is for my college Black Student Union reunion. So they have a reunion. Last one was 2012. And the significance behind the organization, which is the Organization for Students of African Descent, is that when I was in college, the very first mural I did was for that organization. And so...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so...
Full circle.
Full circle. And just last year, I went back to college to do 3 murals. Now, this is when I was in college, my first semester in college, coming from New York. I went upstate New York, full-fledged hardcore graffiti writer. Like, I bombed the whole fine arts building.
Oh, God. That's great.
I used to go at night into the hallways and do full-color pieces in the hallways at night. Bam, pose. Right?
Yeah.
So I get a letter saying I'm getting kicked out of college.
Really?
Right? I'm like, oh shit. Because everybody called me Pose on campus.
Yeah, so everybody knew who you were.
So fortunately, one of the art professors was like, yo, he took a liking to me, seeing that graffiti art was coming out of age. He was like, you should take some art classes. I was like, wow, I don't like that. People painting in studios and all that shit. Whack. But I signed up and took a course. If I hadn't signed up and been enrolled in the fine arts department, I would have gotten kicked out of school. I was like, I'm an art student when I went to actual campus court.
Yeah.
So fortunately, he saved me. And so this kind of brings things full circle. So I was invited back to campus last year to paint 3 murals after nearly getting kicked out 30 years ago.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty outstanding.
That's really outstanding. Cool. So how can people find you?
You can find me at www.maxmoses.com. That's Max with 2 X's. Or pose2.com, POSETWO. You can find either one of those on Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Tumblr, all those social media outlets. Yes.
You guys should definitely go have a look at this stuff. I'm going to wrap this up, and I just want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Maxx.
I appreciate you. Good to see you
Nice
again.
to see you.
All right, keep shining.
I will, you too.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to episode 2 of Buzz Radio. We will be publishing episode 3 in September, and we are working on adding some exciting new segments to the show. Visit www.buzzradio.buzz to receive updates and to find out how to subscribe to Buzz Radio so that you never miss out on an episode. Thanks again to Max Moses for being my guest. Visit www.pose2.com for more information about his artwork and to see his paintings. Love and light, Lindsay.